Hello, hello. Here I am again, back live with another one of your speakers at the Visibility and Velocity Summit. And I had a realization earlier, because I've also recorded a podcast in between these live sessions, is on the 16th of September between 9:30 a.m. and 3 p.m. I'm going to be having 25-minute chats with 8 world-class guest expert speakers. And it dawned on me that I'm going to have to keep the energy up for all that time. So pray for me, send me snacks, and do not talk to me for 3 days afterwards, because I'm going to need to get over this. But the next person I'm going to introduce to this online stage is someone who will have all the tips and techniques for me to be able to pull off a live summit. She is... She's someone, right? I've had a girl crush on her for ages. So I met her at an event maybe 2 or 3 years ago. She was the MC, and I was just like, oh my God, like I have to get to know this woman. And we did work together briefly, and just the truth bombs that she drops continue to blow my mind to this day. So of course, I couldn't put on a summit about visibility without having somebody to come in and burst through the BS bubble when it comes to helping you guys speak on stage. So I'm going to stop talking for now, and I'm going to bring her on. And I might just hand her over, leave her to do all the she's glaring at me behind stage like, oh my God, don't do it. No, this is just going to be a chat, okay? This is how I work. We show up, we see what happens, we drop bombs, and then we disappear. So before I go off on any more tangents, please meet Lovelda Vincenzi.
Right. Girl, I'm scared for what the heck we're about to produce. I mean, it's going to be a good laugh. That I can tell you. It's going to be fun. It'll be full of vibrancy, and it'll be a ride.
But isn't that what
Buckle up. Buckle up.
Isn't that what business is all about? Having fun.
It is. It's interesting because I did a testimonial interview with a past client of mine earlier on today. And one of the things that she shared was often, I don't know if it's mainly a female thing. It may be, I'm just making stuff up. But there's a group of us in business who get into business spaces and think, oh, all personality must be left at the door. You know, we're about to walk in, must be professional. And professional means all personality must be devoid of my body when I arrive, right? And the irony is, in the space of speaking, tell me one person who likes listening to the person on stage with no flipping personality.
Oh, no. Absolutely.
So I don't know why we do it to ourselves, but no. I think there's just this view that we can make up in our minds about what it looks like to be professional and to be killing it and to be out there doing things. And often what that means is the secret sauce magic, that's us, gets left to the wayside because nobody else can replicate our personality. So for me, I'm like, you're going to get what you're going to get. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. I will deliver what we're here to talk about.
Yeah.
But it might be a ride you've not been on before.
Of course. And I love that. Like earlier on, you were like, what are we talking about? I don't know. We'll just see what comes up. But I'm very much like that. And for me, like this is like the essence of relationship building. It's having conversations, it's connecting, it's having a laugh, because that's what people buy into. They're not going to buy into it if I sit here all kind of like straight-laced and monotone and then introducing you, and it's like then we're both the same. If we're both sitting here straight-laced and monotone and very professional, and that's not what people buy into.
I think the bit we have to remember is, for particularly people who are going into the speaking space, it's a personal brand that you're building, right? And the one thing that distinguishes every personal brand is the personality behind the brand, right? So when you take that away, you're a commodity, not a brand. You're just like everybody else. There's nothing different. There's nothing that stands out. There's no pizzazz. It's all kind of vanilla. But I think sometimes the challenge is, what happens if I put a little bit of spice in it? Some people aren't going to like it, but the people who like it are going to like that more because it's different.
Yes.
And so, yeah, you know, I don't get the leave the personality at the wayside. Professionalism and personality are not the same thing. Professionalism is how you do business. You know, that's it. It's It's you show up when you say you're going to show up. You send things in the time frame that you say you're going to, like, that I can rely upon you to deliver the service that you said. That's professionalism. Personality is, what energy do you bring into the room? Now, you can be a personality with professionalism. Both of those things can be true. Or you can be a professional with no personality. And I know which one I prefer to be.
Let's not drop any names of people you may know. But actually, when it comes to speaking, because I'm sure you've seen it, like, just rise in popularity, and you know, I've sat here watching the rise in popularity, and I often wonder if people want the prestige of speaking on stage without it actually being part of their strategy. Is there a part of, when you coach speakers, having to pull out their personality because they're almost so focused on, I'm delivering this and I've got to say this at this point? Or actually, are your speakers pretty cool? They show up and they're just like happy to absorb your knowledge?
I'd say it's a bit of both. So firstly, the work that I do with speakers is mainly on the business side of their speaking. And if I were to say, where does the personality side come into that? It's normally in the way that people will negotiate, in how they'd set up and what they think is okay. It's in them shying away from conversations they should probably lean into. It's that they'll sell something they shouldn't because they didn't think the client was going to be okay with them bringing their personality. So for example, one of my clients had a journalism background and an acting background. I've got another one who's like a painter and a speaker. And these things become two different personalities that don't get to coexist in the same space. And I kind of have to remind people, actually, when you're on a stage, if I'm thinking of how do I best sell you, where is it that you can start to compete where you're in a group of one? Because a competition only exists when you've vanillaed yourself out so much that you're just like everybody else. But when you start layering these things together, I can have another host who isn't really competition because I can't do what she does. Like, this woman gets on stage and like works with a client and goes, we'll open with a monologue with an orchestra in the back. Dude, I can't do those things. Like, we work in different leagues, and it's okay. There's enough business for both of us.
Yeah.
But that's how she gets to be in competition of one, because how many other people have got that? I, on the other hand, go, well, I'm an event organizer. I've worked in business, so I understand what that looks like. I've organized events for over 20 years. And so when I get on stage to host and moderate, I get this in a way others don't. I understand that the pressure that you're under, that I'm not just bringing energy for the sake of bringing energy. I'm bringing energy to help you achieve specific business results. And I'm thinking about that end to end. If you want an entertainer, go hire one. But if you need entertainment that delivers business results, I'm your girl. But go find me a journalist with the same background that I've got. Yeah. Right? So it just depends then on what the organizer's looking for. But I think where people get themselves into trouble is we're so busy going, well, how's it going to be important that I did acting? I'll take that out. How's this bit going to be important? I'll take that out. How's this bit going to be important? I'll take that out. Now we're in a vanilla space. And then when you go to market and command higher fees, what makes you different? Because there isn't a brand, there isn't a flair, there isn't anything different. You just look like everybody else in the marketplace. So from that perspective, that is definitely where I help people. I help them kind of look at, you don't have to take these things out. Actually, if we really take a look at this differently, we can find something that maybe you've been sleeping on that's a superpower that you've got. And often it's something that you've done years ago and you can't even remember why that would be important. And then when you piece them all together, you're like, okay, if you're going to find me competition, you've got to find somebody who's done this with these people with this amount of experience in this sort of ways. Find me somebody else who meets all of that, and then you've got my competition. Otherwise, you've just got somebody else who can get on stage and ask questions, or you've just got somebody else who's talking about leadership. But when you can get that level of specificity to say, find me somebody else who's worked in these spaces in this way for X number of years and brings in the other side of that too, then we can talk about competition. Oh, you can't find them.
Funny that.
So now we're not really in competition. Now you're just making a choice as to whether you want somebody with that they're going to bring or without it, right? We're both going to come, but you're going to get two different things. It's not the same thing. And that's where differentiation comes in. I don't know why I can't say that word this morning.
It's a big word. It's a very professional word. So for you, obviously, as an MC, it's quite niche within like the speaking circle. How did that come about for you? You know, did you grow up as a little girl thinking, oh, do you know what? I really want to MC events? Or,
yeah, my careers advisor told me about it.
I imagine. I don't think there were any creative jobs that careers advisors told you about. But how did, on a serious note, Lovelda, how did you kind of break into it? How did you think, oh my God, that is exactly what I need to be doing?
I stumbled into hosting and moderating. So to give you some background, I have always been the kid who's been quite excited about being on stage. Group presentation, I'll do it. That was me, right? I loved drama. I loved dance. Like creative arts was a space that I enjoyed being in. I loved debate classes. I was always quite fascinated with business. And I was always quite fascinated with organizing things. At one point, I wanted to be a hotel manager. So when I did a degree in accounting, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And so I kind of ended up working in project management and ended up working in sales. And when I was doing that, I think in the back of my mind for the longest while, I thought, I know I'm supposed to be running a business. I just don't know what I'm supposed to be doing running this business. And a friend of mine ran a company that was like a public speaking coaching company. And when she started that business, she asked me to, introduce some speakers, and she'd say to me, "Lovelda, you're so good at this." And I thought, oh, that's cute. Like, that's what friends say. They'll tell you like you're really, really good at something. And I didn't really take it to mean very much, to be honest with you. I'd done a couple of radio shows, podcasts myself before, quite enjoyed interviewing people. Like I quite liked it. It's fun. And then one day, the same friend who'd started that business said to me, she was doing a fashion show, and would I come and co-host with her? And I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And while I was co-hosting that event, in the break, somebody stopped me and said, oh, how much do you charge? I've got an event coming up. And my sales hat picked up, and I went, oh, babe, you'll have to come back to me later because I'm working right now. So if I give you my email address, we'll set up a time to have a conversation, because I didn't even know this was a thing, right? So that was the first time. So when an opportunity came to me, I thought, well, let me figure it out. And what would happen over the next 2 or 3 years is I'd get inquiries through LinkedIn, Lord knows how, because I had no profile that was saying I'm moderating and hosting. I was just excited. So when I do something, I'd share it on LinkedIn. And then one day a gig came through from an event in Paris. It was a new event. They were going to have 3,000 people, like 3,000 guests. The lineup looked pretty cool. And I just had a moment where I thought, wait, hold up, people, hold up. So wait, you're telling me that I can get paid to travel the world and meet interesting people, interview them on stage? Like, this is a thing. Because it just hadn't occurred to me. So at that point, I made the decision that I was going to give this. I was still working full time. I took the gig, and I thought, well, I'll give it a crack. I'm going to give it 12 months, and I'll throw everything that I know how to throw at it, and see whether or not it takes off. Because they're coming to me anyway, and I'm not even trying. So what would happen if I actually put some effort in? And that's pretty much where it started from. That gig led to a number of others. I was international within the year.
Wow.
And it's pretty much just kind of taken off from there. Lots of other bits and pieces in the story, but we'll leave it with a Hollywood ending.
Of course. They can sign up to attend the Visibility and Velocity Summit on the 16th of September to find out more.
Exactly how did I make that happen? I mean, there's lots of details, but the summary was something came to me. It really resonated. I loved doing it. And I thought I was just going to throw my heart and soul behind it for a year and see what would happen.
Yeah. And then how many years ago was that?
That would have been, I quit my day job in 2018.
Wow. Okay.
So 2017 was that first gig.
Yeah.
2018, I quit my day job. My last day in that sales role was the 31st of August, 2018.
Wow. And now 7 years later, and here you are.
People are still convinced I know how to interview folk.
Well, that was another thought that crossed my mind earlier. I was like, hold on a minute. She interviews people on stage for a living, and I've invited her onto my stage so that I could interview her. I thought, is this actually a good idea? She might be thinking, oh, this is terrible. What have I signed up for?
Do you know what's interesting? When I work with hosts, I say to them, you need to get in the interview chair every now and then because you lose touch, right? Like if you're going to be interviewing people, you need to understand what it's like to be in their seat. There's a lot of psychology that goes into interviewing a person. And if you don't, now you're just looking at them like fresh meat or something like this. And not everybody, honestly, not everybody reacts the same way. It can be really nerve-wracking to be on the other side of the fence. How am I supposed to tell my panelists how to get the most out of a panel if I'm never on a flipping panel? How am I supposed to know what good feels like being on a panelist, like how I feel supported as a panelist if I'm never a panelist? So I like being the other side of the fence because it helps me to hone my craft on the other side of the fence to make it a better experience for anybody who happens to have me as a moderator. Yeah.
And, I'm assuming your diary is open for bookings.
I mean, my diary is always open for the right bookings.
Yes, the right bookings. That's what it's all about.
I'm not delusional enough to think that I'm the right fit for every single event. I think every organizer deserves to have the right. And I say this when I'm working with people, like sometimes no is a good answer because it's a lot of time, effort, and energy to put on an event. And an organizer deserves to have a speaker, a moderator, or a host who is excited to be on that stage, not one that's looking to tick a box.
Yeah.
Because I've been the other side of it where speakers have shown up like, oh, do I have to do this? And they're just showing up to like, I don't know, tick a box. And it doesn't feel great. It doesn't feel great if I, as an organizer, have put all of this effort for months. Sometimes it's like a year and a half crafting an event for you to show up and take the mick on my stage. Absolutely not. So if it doesn't fit, have the respect. That's how I'm gonna put it. Have the respect for the organizer and for yourself, because your last gig is going to be the thing that people remember you by. And when you make that decision to do the engagement, regardless of how much you're being paid, you should do every engagement as if it's your reputation is riding on it. And that way you're less likely to become complacent, because complacent speakers, moderators, and hosts are not the gig.
No. And actually your reputation is on the line every single week, because you've got the event organizer, you've got the support team, you've got everybody in the audience who are potential referrers for you to get gigs in the future. So actually you want to show up and give the best performance because you don't know who's watching.
Yeah. You don't know who's in the audience. I think sometimes people look at a stage and go, oh, it's a small one. It's a small one. I'm just going to like half call it in. I have got some of the best forward work from corners where I didn't even necessarily know it was the case. And so I think if you're going to be a speaker and you need to have a certain number of people on the stage in order for you to show up, you need to be doing more rehearsing, because you should be at a 10, whether there's one person in the audience or 10,000 people in the audience.
Yeah.
And if you know that you're driven by energy, then you should not be doing gigs without a certain number of people in the room, like, because you're just not doing yourself any favors. And that comes down to knowing ourselves well enough to know who we serve best and serving them at the highest level.
Absolutely. Oh, do you know what? I actually can't wait for our fireside chat, because again, I don't know where it's going to go. I've got a few ideas of questions that I'm going to ask, because we've both seen the BS online around how to become a speaker, what you need to do to become a speaker, and you're the only person I've really seen completely shatter the illusion of the advice that's out there, and you just keep it real the whole time. So I'm looking forward to the truth bombs and the nuggets of wisdom you're going to share on the 16th of September.
Oh, I'm excited. And I agree with you. I think there's a difference between speaking and being a professional speaker. And I think people convolute the two of them and think they're two different things. Professional speakers take their craft incredibly seriously. It's not a joke. It's not a little something they do on the side. Those talks are written, rehearsed, within an inch of their life, because this is their business, this is their craft, it's their profession. Public speakers just talk. Anybody can talk. But if you're honestly, I say anybody, most people can talk, right? Most people have got something to say. Professional speaking is about moving people specifically for a result. It's building a business in order to get on stage, deliver a message that creates impact, and be paid for that service. And if you're not serious about it and you just think, oh, this is a lovely side hustle and I'd bolt onto it, this is not the career path for you to take. When I decided I was going to go ham on this, I was working full time and I was legitimately bona fide taking time to build other business. There was no coaching services then. There was nothing else I was doing. I was moderating. I was at my day job. And then in the evening, I was hunting for gigs, right? Mm-hmm. And then when I booked them, I was putting the full weight of myself behind them to deliver on those engagements and seeing if I could get a rebooking off the back of it, right? That's what it is. It's a full product and service. It's no different to a coach launching a group coaching program. You don't kind of go, oh, I've got this thing on the side, right? Maybe if I send an email, like maybe that will do it. And then when people come, I'm going to charge them 20 gazillions for it because, you know, I'm worth it. I've been doing this for ages. Do you know how many years I've spent in it? Where's the value? You get the price because you can demonstrate a value. You can demonstrate that this isn't about taking a punt. It's something I've done for years. That's where professional speakers are getting their fees from, because they can demonstrate what they do. They're not just saying, I've got all these years of experience. Well, so does a professor at university. Yeah. Does not necessarily make them a great, compelling professional speaker, but they have a depth of wisdom as well. But what you're going to get with them speaking on a stage is very different to a professional speaker to whom has honed that craft to deliver something that kind of keeps you at the edge of your seat, right? You got to understand what the market's playing for. Anyhow, I digress. Yes. I get all excited. I'm like, what else can we talk about? Sorry.
Oh, no.
None.
I'll remove you off the stage again. So if you are watching live or listening on the replay, Lovelda will be joining me and 7 other world-class speakers on the 16th of September at the Visibility and Velocity Summit. It's being live streamed for free, so show up. You don't have to have makeup on, you don't have to get dressed, you don't have to have a bra on. I will have all 3, but by the end of the day, I may not. So if you haven't already saved your seat, go to www.prwithperks.com/summit. Lovelda, thank you so much for your time today.
It's been a blast.
Oh, thanks. You can send me notes afterwards. Right, I'll see you later. Thank you so much.